Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where today's topic is Christmas versus Kwanzaa. But before we get started, especially since we're going to be talking about Kwanzaa, I want to kind of jumpstart our discussion on collective economics by looking at some of the products that we promote here at Contemporary Black Voices. For example, this book here is the 2020, 23 Black Book, which is a directory and yearbook. In this book, you have pictures of uh, people that we celebrate in the community, but pages and pages and pages of Black owned businesses. And we're always hearing, well, I don't know what's going on in the city. Where are the Black businesses? Get this book. This is your roadmap to Black businesses. So go to apcovid.com to purchase the book. We hold this. Next, we have event cards. We've got, this is a pretty one right here. I love this one here. But we've got a series of cards from Martin Luther King, which is coming up soon. Of course, our holiday cards of Miss Claus, Mr. Claus. But if you go to blackeventscards.com, you can also order one of these. So we're proud of the fact that we have options now other than Hallmark to buy our cards.
I kind of like that Miss Claus.
You like Miss Claus? Whose mama is that? And then, well, I said Mr. Claus, but this one here is dressed more for Kwanzaa.
Right.
So speaking about Kwanzaa, you guys celebrate Kwanzaa?
Not really, but you know what? I think a lot of us probably we celebrate it all year with cooperative economics, Buy and Black. We celebrate unity and a lot of the other 7 principles. We celebrate them all year.
Okay. Well, in our family, we had, I think, going back to when we were stationed in Japan, where we had to find ways of interacting with other Black families. There might have been a spirit of Kwanzaa there, but we just didn't have a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we came back to the States, we started talking more and more about these different principles associated with Kwanzaa. And we got into the newspaper. But the whole purpose in our family of celebrating Kwanzaa, which we probably do all year round as everything else, is a time to celebrate our culture and our history even more so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as in Christmas, you're more prone to buy gifts. During Kwanzaa, you have more of an opportunity to showcase your gifts. And so both holiday seasons, we cook. But when I have a Kwanzaa celebration at my house with my family, I talk about the history of the foods. So I have, ready for this, chitlins, fried chicken, sweet potato, greens, corn, a whole lot of, there's a whole lot of stuff. And I talk about the history of those foods, why those foods have been so important in the Black community, especially chitlins, because a lot of people say, I'm not going to eat them nasty things. Well, I hate to say this, them nasty things were some of the elements that our family had to eat, on the slave plantations, just to survive, because they were the stuff that was thrown out. So we celebrate Kwanzaa. We celebrate Emoja. We celebrate Imani Faith. We celebrate Kulia. We celebrate all of that stuff in our family, and we bring in friends and family members also. So you were saying you celebrate it all year round?
Mm-hmm. We do. I think we all do. We all celebrate faith and unity and purpose and collective work. And cooperative economics. So I think we all pretty much uphold those principles all year around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like Caleb. I consider, if you look at me, I'm Black.
You are?
Yeah. So I celebrate Black 365 days because I'm living with it.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to admit, I am not the guy that knows a lot about Kwanzaa. Uh, I've got a brother who is very, very into Kwanzaa. He and his mother were very much into it. But me personally, no, I have not gotten into it that much. I like it, but I don't know that much about it.
Well, having come from the classroom, I'm talking about what I mean by the classroom, elementary ed. Uh, Kwanzaa was one of the topics that was taught in the classroom. Kids had their own candles, black, red and green candles. They color it, and we would have these discussions about Kwanzaa. Now, because of critical race, this argument by critical race theory, I don't know whether that discussion will continue. But one of the things the kids learned was that, well, even though Nia means purpose,
Mhm.
they understood that purpose is something that all of them, have. Faith, Imani, all of them had some level of faith, whether you were Muslim, whether you was Jehovah Witness, whether you were this or whether you were that. So it was always a proud moment when I was teaching to teach those principles and to show the kids that although this is a black celebrated holiday, all 7 of these principles
Mhm.
are filtered into your community one way or the other.
Mhm.
And so uh, there were Kwanzaa festivals. So I don't know if those same discussions will be happening in the classrooms now with the Republicans anti anything black in the
Yeah.
classroom, but the principles say a whole lot.
I had just gotten from when I was growing up saying Merry Christmas
Mhm.
to saying Happy Holidays.
Mhm.
I'm back to saying Merry Christmas again. Now I guess I gotta say Happy Kwanzaa.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, I know I talked a little bit about some of the in the last segment, some of the rich traditions that we have that we developed in early American history during the time of slavery. Uh, I think Kwanzaa adds to that richness of African American tradition in this country, and a lot of groups, other groups, have their own traditions, holiday traditions, and add an additional element to our holiday celebrations, enrich us culturally. It's one of the things that helps to ground our kids in our culture, and so I mean I embrace it. I embrace the principles of it, and again, I think it adds to the richness of the culture that we created here in this country.
One of the things I do like about Kwanzaa
Mhm.
is the corn
Mhm.
and how each one of those segments of the corn represents our children.
No, help me with that.
Well, you have the kanara, which is the candle, and then you have the candles, and then around it you have a mat, but around it also you have fruit, vegetables, and everything. Well, again, the fruit and vegetables represent something, but the corn, the little, what's it called? Not
The Colonel?
the kernel.
Mhm.
Each kernel is a representation of the children, which is the future of our community, and how we need to be doing all that we can to embrace them, encourage them, support them, because they are the future of our community. So, Kwanzaa to me is a powerful tool that we can use to uh, protect the history.
Mhm.
Like this book, The Black Book. Now, I had never heard our producer, Carl, talk about this, but after I heard him, this book documents us in San Antonio.
Mhm.
It documents us. You're in it, you've always be in it. So the history is there. And we've got family histories that we need to share with our family.
Mhm.
So again, Kwanzaa to me is I love Christmas, but I think that more Black families need to put their life on pause for a moment and really think about celebrating Kwanzaa during it's a sign week. You can do it year round, but really sit down as a family during that week from December 26th through January 1st and really talk about each principle separately each day.
Yeah.
And how we as a family can do better.
I agree. I think the more things, the more tools we have that'll ground us uh, culturally, the more information and just the more things that we can provide our kids to help center them and ground them culturally, the better off they'll be. And so I've always thought that one of the things that that are missing in our community are these guiding points that take our children from one principle to the next, or things that ground our children culturally and say, this is who you are, and this is not who you are. And so when kids can see the beauty of their culture, they can see the beauty in themselves, and they can see the beauty in other folks that look like them, and it makes them less apt to commit violence against someone who looks like them. And so again, the more principles that we have, the better.
You know, we're coming up on just about a year of this program. And I just wanted to say, maybe next week when we talk about a reflection of the whole year might be a better time to say this, but it's really kind of like on my heart to say now, which is I learn every time we come to this show. What does that have to do with Kwanzaa or Christmas? The gift that I enjoy is the gift of learning from each of you. I wish that I had known more about Kwanzaa through Dr. Chadwell, that she could have taught me more, that by the time we got to this discussion, I would have been able to know and to be able to say more. But
Wait, is that an invite for 2020, 2025?
No, that's an invite to your house to cook some food.
Like we gonna go eat. You gonna talk about each of these dishes as I put them on my plate, right?
But I think the real joy when you talk about Kwanzaa and you talk about Christmas is the gift for me that each of you bring to me, that I selfishly take and use for my own advancement, so to speak.
I wanna, I ditto that because I have learned from each of you as well, and so your commitment to the community, your commitment to the older folks in the community has taught me a lot. And Chris is a guardian. he is. He's a guardian for the Black community, and he's gonna make sure those politicians are in check. He's gonna make sure they do what they say they're gonna do. And so
don't tell people that.
Yeah, he does. So he has a commitment to this community that is unwavering, and so that has inspired me as well. And so, and the same thing with Doc. And so Doc is my rock, and so she grounds me. I can call her and Doc, I didn't get a 96 or 97. And she's like, calm down, just as long as you know. So she's been a rock. And just a wealth of information. She allows me to sit in with her doctoral mentees, and she just she's taking me under her wing, and I appreciate that. And so again, so the same thing. So each of you have enriched my life and made it just so much better. And I think.
Well, thank you.
Well, I can say a whole lot, but I think what I'm going to do is say thank you for watching Contemporary Black Voices, where we talk about subjects our way for the Black community. Thanks.